Got a lot of people on hold. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's start with Sam in Chatham County. Sam, line 1, you're live, sir.
Hey, John, thank you so much. I really appreciate all that you do for the good people of Georgia. In some cases, I think it's as much therapy as it is a call to action, because there's so much gaslighting going on. In fact, I read the response to the Sidney Wood lawsuit as fashioned by the Georgia Secretary of State that says there's no announcement to leave State Farm Arena when you see everyone with your own 2 eyes clear out of the counting room and these suitcases come out. Mm-hmm. But it's just announcement after announcement that's driving me nuts. And I think before I got on the line, you were kind enough to call out all of these traditional Republicans, let's say, that tell us that we got to toe the line, hold the line, that we must vote. And they're just not getting the essence of the message you just communicated, and that's we understand that our right to vote is our right to vote. We must not do anything, and we must demand, really, action for our vote. But the point I wanted to get to is one of coordinated action. How do we recall this executive branch? What can your listeners do to coordinate their action? Is there something that you can do to bring us together to bring these guys out of office in a reasonable way through petitions across the state?
That's very difficult. Look,
what do you think about
Sam, that? Two calls to action today. There's an immediacy. You got to get a special session. There's no special session. You're going to lose these two seats again. And Perdue and Loeffler, bless their heart, as my mom would say, they don't get it, okay? You saw Perdue in Valdosta. They talked for 27 seconds. He got heckled off the stage. He comes up and people are screaming a chant, fight for Trump, fight for Trump. He says 3 words, hands the mic back, he runs away. Okay? They don't get it. So you can't help that, right? They're not going to get it. But what you can do right now, you can call your state senator, you can call your representative, and you can absolutely demand that they sign this petition. And if they don't sign it, you want to know why. You want to know why they don't want to sign it to get a special session. You have to say why. And then primary them. That's the only thing they understand, Sam. They don't. Brian Kemp in 2020 needs to get primaried. So does Cosmo man Jeff Duncan, running the CNN with his $5,000 Armani suit and his hairdo. He needs to get primaried, and so does Raffensperger. That's the only thing they understand. Rise up, and you have the power. It's like that person said to me in Alpharetta, Christine from Alpharetta at the rally, said, we just figured out, the deplorables just figured out, we got the power, not them. You change, you fix this, or we're staying home on January 5th. Pick one. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm reporting what other people are saying. But Sam,
you're
right.
reporting accurately. I think.
Thank you.
It breaks my heart not to vote for a conservative in office. It does. But to see these things like the late night unanimous consent on a visa bill that's passed to benefit big tech, the same big tech that these guys are railing against.
Yep.
In the media.
Yep.
Do you see pro-amnesty meeting with people like Cornyn, Rubio?
Yep.
It's driving me nuts. It's like, even when you do vote for someone that you think you're aligned with, as soon as they get into office, they're not who you thought they were.
You're gonna have to throw them out. Sam, you're going to have to throw them out. But it starts with this special session and calling out any senator or representative who's a Republican who did not sign this petition needs to be called out and thrown out. That's the only way you're going to get their attention. That's it.
Hey, I got one other question.
Go ahead, Sam.
Senate hearing. Thank you. On the Senate hearing, there was an order to the witnesses, and one witness from Ware County was bumped from the order. He was number 7, according to him. Then he was bumped to the end of the order,
then
he was never heard.
Garland
What
Favorito.
happened with that? Yes. Okay, so Mr. Favorito, we have a Republican running the show.
They
on
bumped
Senate
him.
Hearing.
They continued to, but the chairman of that subcommittee continued to bump him because his story was too toxic for them. Basically, he was going to call into question the whole Dominion thing because he's the one that went down there and found that an algorithm in Ware County got changed. And when you fed the hand ballots into the machine, that Trump got 37 less votes and Biden got 37 more. So let me make it plain. Let's say there were 100 total ballots, 50 for Trump and 50 for Biden, and you counted them and you stacked them up. You fed them in the machine. It comes out 87 Biden, 13 Trump. There's no human error. There's no glitch. There was something in the software that was his testimony. He has it. He got bumped until they ran out of time. But he's not going away. Sam in Chatham County, thank you. Line 2, let's get to, thank you, Sam. Let's get to Greg in McDonough, Georgia. Greg, you're live.
Hey, I talked to you last week, John. I apologize for my voice in advance. I have been on the Capitol steps, man, for the last 3 weeks. I have been circling the governor's mansion. I was out there all day Friday in the pouring down rain, and it's just sad to me, John, to be honest. It takes people like you to come into our state. And then, yes, we had a great rally for President Trump on Saturday. But I have been on those Capitol street steps in those streets in front of the Capitol for 3 weeks. And what blows me away, John, is how we have almost 4 million people in this city here. And I'm surrounded by maybe 50, 60, 70 people. And I just encourage people to realize the power they have, and they've got to express it in the streets. It's more than just calling your senator. You got to take an active role. You got to get your feet on the street. And if it hadn't been for the few patriots that were out there for the last 3 weeks, I don't even know if we'd be at this point, John, to be candid with you. And
I agree with you, Greg.
It's just frustrating, man. And I have lit up my social media, which I don't have any left. I've been banned from Twitter. I've been banned from Facebook. So all I have is Parler and YouTube. But the bottom line is I'm trying to get that message out on social media. Been very active on there, just trying to let people know the prayer vigil that we had last night, all the different events that are going on. And, John, we just got to get these people to rise up. What I'm seeing now in the political arena is very much similar to what you see in NCAA football, where the players are just now starting to realize, hey, we got the ultimate power. We're the monkeys they come to watch to dance. And I kind of feel the same way as a citizen here. We've got to get these people out, John, and anything you can do to encourage the people and keep them aware of what's going on as well. And I'll tell you, the devastating thing for Loeffler and for Purdue was their inaction on the stage Saturday night. I mean, it just blew me away that you got Trump there fighting his guts out, and these two spineless creatures crawl up there, and they barely have anything to say. You know, they're not saying, hey, we're going to make sure we fight for Trump. We're going to make sure we get this special session here in Georgia. I hear none of that talk from them. And I just don't get it.
It's sad, isn't it?
Oh, it's beyond sad.
It's not that you don't get it, Greg.
I thank you. Thank you for what you're doing, sir. I can't thank you enough, candidly.
Thank you, Greg. You know, Greg, it's not that you get it, they don't get it. I mean, if you were at that rally like me and you stood there with 20,000 people and Purdue gets up and he gets heckled with a chant, the biggest chant of the night, the most deafening chant, the place was rocking, was he gets up on the stage and they start chanting, fight for Trump, fight for Trump, fight for Trump. And he gets louder and louder and he's drowned out. And he doesn't get it because he's listening to his loser, dirtbag Washington consultants sitting in their office in D.C. Plotting with McConnell. And they're not on the ground like we are. They don't get it. And it's sad. And as a result of that, they're going to, if they don't get it fast, they're going to lose. I mean, I've been saying that. The first 3 days I was here, I told you that 15 to 20% of Trump voters that I was talking to in rural counties were not voting on January 5th because of what happened. And like now it's real. Now it's become reality. Because, look, it is what it is. I just report it, what people are saying. And the fake news wants to do something else. So the consultants they hire in Washington are morons. Thank you. Let's get to, thank you, Greg. Let's get to line 2. Michael in Woodstock. Michael, you're live.
Yay, how you doing? Is this
good,
John?
Michael. Yes, sir.
I'm doing great. I guess I got you on a time delay here. Hey, first I want to say thank you. I think you are making a big difference in this state. So thanks very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah, you're welcome. I also I went to the rally, and man, it was deafening. Not only people to shout for fight for Trump, but they also stood up and raised their fists. That was a very fighting mad type of of crowd there, and it was the most explosive moment. But I think Kelly Loeffler is starting to feel her way around the political way of doing things, and she had a tweet today that said that she's fighting for Trump, or fight for Trump. I know she echoed that somehow. And I was also lucky enough to meet Burt Jones and Brandon Beach today at the rally. And lastly, are you going to be in Jasper today?
No, I was going to Jasper, but I think that's at 2 p.m., right? The 1 or 2 p.m. with Purdue at the gun store there.
Right.
What's it called again? Starts with an A. I just can't think of it. Anyway, no, because that's like 2.5 hours from Athens, and I just can't make it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great.
But I am going to send one of my reporters from Georgia Star News. It's Appalachian Gun Store. David Perdue will be there at 1:15 for a rally. Appalachian Gun Store in Jasper. But we are sending the Georgia Star News there. Go to georgiastarnews.com.
You betcha. All right. Thanks very much, man. I appreciate the hard work you're doing.
Hey, Mike, thanks for all you do. And, I forgot about the people pumping their fist in the air. I kind of forgot about that. Now that you mentioned it when they were saying fight for Trump. And, yeah, maybe Kelly finally is getting the message. She sent a tweet out that said fight for Trump. I mean, I think you start to get it, right? Thank you, Mike. All right, let's get to line 2. Anthony in New Jersey. Anthony, you're live.
Hi, John. How you doing? Anthony from New Jersey here. We spoke not too long ago when you did a Vox Pop Live with Steve Bannon, and I've been listening to you in the mornings, and I just felt the need to call in today. I know I'm not a Georgian, and it kind of feels like I'm over here in New Jersey, and I have a lot of other friends who are living in these states that are watching what's going on in Georgia and Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, and it feels like we can't do anything because we're not living there. But I think that there's a lot of resources there's a lot of resources with citizens outside of those states, because this, what's going on right now and fighting for Trump in the presidential election, that doesn't just affect these people in these states. It affects everywhere around the country, everybody. And, I think an actionable, an action that we can take, or at least I'm doing, is calling my U.S. House representative, calling my U.S. senators, even though they're all Democrats, and telling them that this is the most important issue that we have right now. I mean, we could have special sessions in Georgia, special sessions in Pennsylvania, but why can't we have a special session for the U.S. Congress to do something about what we're saying is widespread fraud that's going to have a lasting impact on our elections? Why should we vote if they're just going to stuff the ballot box? I mean, I'm losing faith in the election system. Why should we do it? We can't even have the voter ID or have signature match. I mean, this needs to be. This is like a lot of people are saying. This is bigger than Trump.
I agree with you, Anthony. It is bigger than Trump. That's what people are starting to figure out. And if you don't stop the steal, they're just going to steal it again. It's like Vernon Jones was on the other day, and I love Vernon Jones, dear friend of mine. And somebody called in early and said, he's a Democrat. The Democrats are fighting harder for Trump in Georgia than the Republicans are. Kind of funny. But, he got on and he said, we got to get these 2 senators elected on January 5th or it's Armageddon. I agree with that. Yeah, you have to. We have to win. And he said, what we need to do is get another 15,000 voters out. And a person called in while he was on the line and took calls. And she said, but Vernon, all they're going to do then is find another 15,000 to steal. So you get 15, they get 16. We get 16, they get 17. I mean, they have a methodology now to just jam ballots in until they win. So what's the point? That's the problem, Anthony. You nailed it. Anyway, Anthony, thank you. Line 1. God bless you, sir. Let's get to, I got 1 more minute, and then everybody's got to wait till bottom of the hour. Let's get to Steve in Williamsburg, Virginia. Steve, you're live.
Oh, no, this is Chief Joe.
Oh, Chief Joe. Okay, Joe, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to give encouragement to the people down in Georgia. Turn out and vote. flood the place again, okay? Make it so that it's so overwhelming on day of turnouts that they, again, you want this to, if they're going to stuff the ballot box, fine, but let's make it another fight, all right? Don't be afraid to fight. Show up, vote. Fight for this republic like the people who died at Pearl Harbor 79 years ago died defending this. They put the last full measure in. All they're asking for you to do is turn out now. Hold your nose if you have to. But brothers and sisters in Georgia, from the Commonwealth of Virginia, go. Do what you got to do. Overwhelm the system like they did again. Make them work for it at least. Okay? Don't lay it down. The other thing I want to ask you, John, is I heard your text number again. I'd like to send you some pictures from Pearl Harbor. 757, what was the prefix, please?
692-1710. 692-1710.
1710, 692. All right, thanks, brother. Have a good day.
All right, Chief Joe. Okay, Stephen Williamsburg, Sam in Chatham County. I know you spoke to your representative. I want to get you both on. I got to get to the bottom of the hour, guys. Hang on, and if you can hang on through the break, we'll be right back at you. Stephen Williamsburg, Sam in Chatham County, and everybody else. One more segment for calls: 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. John Fredericks Show live in Athens, Georgia. State Senate retreat today. I'll be right back. Stay with us. Let's get to Steve in Williamsburg, line 1. Steve, you're live. Steve, are you there? Go ahead, Steve.
No,
you're
this
live.
is Joe.
Joe.
Hey, John. Hey, John. Yeah, I was giving you a call. I had heard you on the War Room with Steve Bannon, and Jack Maxey brought up some things to do in Georgia to drive out there to drive the Republican vote. And the one thing that he brought up was the recall petition for Kemp and Rosenberger.
Right.
And just wanted to get your thoughts on that. If you've heard anything more about doing something like that from any
great idea. Everybody loves the idea. People have asked me, how can you start it? I mean, some organization would have to organize that. It's a pretty big effort to go around the state and do that. I don't have the bandwidth to do it, or the staff, but somebody would need to. Or it's a great idea. Understand the Republican Party can't do that because, they'd be trying to recall people with an R by their name. So even though they might, the apparatus in Georgia might be sympathetic, they can't do it. So somebody would. So phones are ringing. Somebody would have to do that. Thank you, Joe. But it's a great idea. All right. Now let's get to line 1. Nope. That was Joe. Okay. Steve is gone. Let's get to line 2. Sam from where?
Sam from Chatham. Thank you.
Sam from Chatham. Sam, you're live.
Thank you, John. Hey, I just spoke with you earlier and had the opportunity to talk with my representative, Ron Stevens, who seems like a good guy, and God bless him. He's always willing to take my call, so I appreciate that. And so abiding by your call to action, I followed up with him. And his first words to me were, I don't want to go against the governor. What would a special session even do at this point? And then he kind of explained it to me. And so I'm just a smelly Walmart shopping deplorable, so I don't understand the legislative process. But what he explained to me is that we don't want to put the cart before the horse, meaning that the representatives are planning a hearing of their own. He anticipates it being today or tomorrow, and he was unwilling to sign any petition until he had that hearing in the House, if you would, and better understands the facts. And his impression was that there would be even more substantial evidence of fraud coming out in this next hearing. I wonder what your thoughts were on this.
What does that do if you can't change anything? That is just noise. So first of all, they haven't called a hearing. The House has done nothing. The leadership doesn't want a hearing. Ralston doesn't want it. Jones doesn't want it. Look, if you got to go through Jan Jones to get anything done. She's powerful. That's the Speaker pro tem from Milton. They're going to have no hearing. And even if they do, it's just more evidence to do the same thing the Senate did. What are you going to do about it? It's not actionable. The only thing that's actionable is a special session. So you're getting double talk, basically. That's what you're getting. Well, we're going to have a hearing. Well, we're going to look at it. Well, we're going to talk about it. Well, we're going to do this. Well, we can't do anything. You can't do anything. You can do something by having a special session, moving the election to February 1st, getting rid of the consent getting rid of the drop boxes and matching the signatures. That's what you can do.
Amen, brother. I'm with you.
I mean, Sam, you got to fight this, man. Your representative just gave you the runaround. And you know what? Here's what they hide behind. You don't know how the system works. That's what they said to Trump, right? When he got Reince Priebus in and all these people. You don't know. Paul Ryan, we're going to teach you the system. And they all jacked him, right? They all jacked him until finally he's figuring it out himself, and he's the system. So, Sam, you got the runaround.
So
sorry.
I felt like that, and I tried to press them politely because I believe in a social, professional process, and I got nowhere. So I don't understand what else we could do other than call and say, excuse me, sir, can you please advocate for the people that live in your area? What else can we do?
Tell him you'll find an opponent and primary him. Sam, that's all they understand, Sam. As long as they can get you to keep voting for them and keep putting him back, and they do what they want against the wishes of their constituents, that's what they're going to do. I don't know what else to say to you, Sam, other than, he gave you the runaround, and if I was you, I would be equally as frustrated.
Yeah, I just feel like time is going to run out on this presidential election. We're going to try and fix things for these senatorial candidates that I think you've expressed exactly how most people feel. I appreciate your time. Thank you, John.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, Sam. But at least you made the effort and called him. Now, maybe if he got one call, nothing happens. Maybe if he got 150, maybe that's going to change his view. But what your representative said to you, and I didn't write his name down, I'm sorry, but basically what he said to you is very simple. He said, I'm not going to do anything. We're going to do more talking. We can't do anything now. It's too late. And leadership doesn't want it. Leadership doesn't want it. That's not you, Sam. You're not leadership. Sorry. It's a leadership. David and Jan. They don't want it. Therefore, you don't have it. They don't care what you want. Could care less, I guess. Let's go to line 2. Let's go to Cindy in Georgia. Cindy, you're live.
Hey there.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Cindy. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm Anita's sister. I know you have talked to Anita.
Anita from Dublin,
she
yes.
told me to call in. Anita from Dublin, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what I'm calling in for. I did go to I think it was November 12th. I went to a meeting at the GOP office, the local office here, and had a great turnout. And they were talking about going and doing door knocking and calling people just to remind them to go out and vote for the Senate runoff. And after that, I mean, I was all pumped up and ready to go, and I haven't gotten anything. They said they would send us a username and sign on and send us lists of people to call and, organize door knocking. But I just last night actually heard from a friend of mine that someone had called her about working at the polls and different things. So I did call her back, and she gave me the lady's number that called her, and I called to hopefully get involved somehow. But just surprised that I've not heard anything after the great turnout that we had there. So I don't know if that's what she was wanting me to call in to talk about or something else.
Well, I think what she wanted you to call in and talk about, she had texted me and said that you were in Forsyth County and you were supposed to be knocking on doors, and at a big meeting, you were all excited, and you signed up for it, and it's December 7th. It was a week ago, and nobody's contacted you. That's what she sent to me. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. I did, like I said, I got a call from a friend of mine last night who said that she had been contacted. So I got a lady named Maria. I got her name and phone number and called her and said, please put me down for working at polls or whatever. At this point, I don't know how much door knocking we can do before, how effective that will be. But, I do want to get involved and make sure that people do go out and vote, because that's, not voting is not an option.
Wow. Well, you know what? But you've not been contacted since you've signed up for that, right?
Not that I'm aware. I mean, they were supposed to, like I said, I gave them my address, phone number, email address. They were supposed to send us a username and sign on for gathering information, people to call list and that. And
where did you have your meeting?
I haven't seen anything.
Was it at the Forsyth GOP or something?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then I would find out just find out who the Forsyth County chairman is, and contact them and say, look, I signed up to door knock. I'm supposed to get all this info to help. We're burning daylight. Nobody's got in contact with me. I mean, they had the meeting. You went, you signed up, and now you want to go to work, and time is short. So that's what I would do. I would contact the chairman of the Forsyth GOP, raise hell.